Howdys and salutations, y'all. Hope you can hear me okay. We're testing out some different audio stuff. I need to do this more often. I was actually going through my stream archive and I was like, oh, the audio, not good. Not good at all. So hopefully we've gotten some of that updated to be just a little bit better. Meantime, I've been working on some other things behind the scenes prep and all that, because believe it or not, tomorrow is the 1-year stream anniversary for Sif Streams, which is crazy. On the one hand, actually no, it feels like it's been much more than a year in pretty much every sense, but that's a good thing. Like, honestly, time flies if you're having fun, but it also time flies if you're, like, being boring. The fact that Sif Streams has kept me with new things I need to do, new challenges to try, just all sorts of new stuff, new skills to learn, always something different. It's been great. It's been like a routine way to do something different, because it's routine 3 days a week all the time, but every time it's a little different, and it's just been awesome. It's hard to believe we've done so much stuff in only a year, honestly. And hopefully we'll do even more next year. There's plenty of stuff we could do better than last time. Plenty of things that I've learned, hopefully. I'm sure plenty of things that I'll have forgotten and have to relearn. But before we get on to announcements of things upcoming for later on this year, which will mostly... those announcements are coming tomorrow, because tomorrow's the actual stream anniversary, so we'll have some fun stuff tomorrow, don't y'all worry. But we will also be... improving some things, or announcing some things tomorrow that will be more relevant later on, because unfortunately I started streaming in the middle of Art Fight last year, which means that all of our anniversaries are in the middle of Art Fight, which isn't great. So we're probably going to have more of an August adventure excitement for all of the new activities, new things that we'll be announcing. I've been trying to get some of the automated integrations going behind the scenes so that we can get social media up and running again, but I can't make any promises on that one. Because social media is a stinking pain in the rear. But we'll try. And, yeah. I'm excited to see what happens. Hopefully y'all are too. Now, before we get too much further into today, which is, I guess, Streamiversary Eve, but also just a normal day, I do want to jump into Art Fight because we got the best stinking attack from Galactic Tragedy. So you may remember we did an attack on Galactic Tragedy, and they turned around that revenge so stinking fast. But it looks so good. Look at this, it's so cute. And also, as usual, Salt causing stinking chaos and napalm, apparently. I mean, not apparently, that is canonically what she sold my characters, which I should not have let her or them do. Oops. But I really like this art. I like, they got all the details, they got cool, like, red line work, which really makes it pop. It looks so good. It really captures, like, the spirit of Salt sprinting away from a fire while holding more fire. Bit of a gremlin. But that's been fun. So, we've done 4 attacks over 2 years. I think that we can at least beat last year's record. Hopefully y'all agree. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens next. Now, I should mention at this point, I know I've announced it in a few places, but I want to just say it on stream too. Next week we won't have any streams because I'm traveling. Unfortunately for the stream, fortunately for me, summer is, common vacation time, and so I'm going with my folks to do some things. No complaints from me there, but unfortunately it does mean that streams will be down, and I can't, I'm gonna try to do Art Fight stuff, but I can't make any promises. We're gonna be traveling, and, I'm probably going to be busy and or exhausted. So we'll see. That said, there's still a week of Art Fight after that, so any attacks we get will definitely get revenged, and we'll have plenty of time to do more things. But, in the name of keeping things going, or keeping things fair, I just wanted to give everyone a heads up about that. Now, in the name of keeping things going, instead of that, we're jumping into our next one. Let's pop out this sub view for a second, because our next attack is going after Muffant, because Muffant is really cool and does really awesome animations and art, and I've been really wanting to do their character for a while, just because it's fun. Let's see, so Muffant has it's a unique ant-like species. I won't get into the details because I can't speak with any expertise on it, but, hold on, where'd my overlays go? Oh, that's why stuff looks stinking weird. I accidentally closed all my overlays. Okay, cool. I can see again. Yay! Awesome. Not on stream. I'm sure on stream it looked fine. Hopefully. But my view, I couldn't see chat or anything, and I was like, wow, something just feels off. There y'all are. But yeah, so Muffant's character, a lot of fun. She's given us very helpful colors and guides for everything. And yeah, we'll have to get into it. Let's see. Now, I know I dug up a pose reference that I was going to use. Ah, right. To my chagrin, I can't find the actual name of the source on it. It was just an unlabeled Pinterest with a dead link. But it's a really good pose, so I'm going to try to get the general vibe of that pose. And we'll lean into it from there. It's going to be a hard one to do with this character, so we'll see. Because I'm going to have a go at the... Oh, is it Anteise or Anteise form? Figure that'll be a fun way to mix things up a little bit. Be an extra little challenge. So yeah, that's what we're gonna have a go at. Sorry, I'm stuttering here a little bit. It's been a crazy day for stupid reasons. Very much self-inflicted crazy day. Work was fine, work was great, but then sometimes you just get the itch to clean something, and I did like a hyperspeed deep clean of like several cabinets and drawers and shelves and junk in like an hour and a half, which was too much, and I'm completely like worn out from that. I was like, no, why am I doing this? I have stream prep stuff I want to do and actually important things, but no. Instead, it was just that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this new one going, and hopefully, I mentioned earlier, looping back to that a little bit. Let's see, it is 23.7.10. That's hard to believe. Art Fight Muffant. Oh, dagnabbit. Hold on. I used the wrong template. Actually, this one's not bad for art fight attacks. I just want to make sure that I get the same background color, so let me check something real quick. Got my normal... What do I call it? Is it HD horizontal or HD vertical? Or was it the 8.5 by... It's this one. FFF4E6. Cool. I like to keep a... I'm trying to keep a consistent background on the art fight characters. We'll see. Just because I don't have the time or skill to do backgrounds right now. Not with any reasonable complexity. And so I'd rather they at least look consistent across the profile to the extent that they can. There's my thumbnails. Okay. I gotta get like in the right mindset for it again. It's been a hot minute. It really hasn't. We streamed yesterday, but like I've done so much stinking stuff since then. Oh, right. Okay, the thing, speaking of looping back on looping back on looping back and so on. Hopefully audio's better today. We're testing something different with that. I know I mentioned that I heard the audio was bad, but I want to clarify I actually tried to do something about that. And B, hopefully the video's better too. I didn't realize that we were streaming in a decent or okay quality, but actually we really weren't. I had OBS output settings wrong, and so it was dumping it into 780p. Or 720p, whichever one it is. I think it's 720 because we wanted 1080. So I've got that updated. Hopefully things will be a little more readable on like the interface and menus. Yeah, so let me know what y'all think on that. Or don't. I mean, no pressure, and honestly, I'm more than happy to talk to an endless void, apparently, so. Things I've learned about myself from streaming. Hopefully y'all can't hear that chewing. I will openly admit, sneaking in dinner a little late, and I don't want this to be an ASMR stream, so why would I add that layer of all layers? Okay. I'm gonna try to get the pose silhouette going in here first. This character looks so stinking familiar, but I can't figure out from what. And that makes me nervous, because if something looks familiar, it's either because it's from something good, not Muffant's character, the reference I'm using. Either it's because it's from something that was great or something awful. You don't remember the mid stuff. So is this like an actually good character? Or is it from like one of those, like the Powerpuff Girl live action atrociousness? Like, I don't know. But we're not mimicking the character. We are literally just grabbing this pose, so. And we're gonna have to adapt it a fair bit to fit the Anteise and uncles. Anyway, sorry. We'll adapt that. Step one is just trying to get the pose in like actually decent proportions on said pose. Step two will be, you know, all that other fun stuff of adapting it. But getting the proportions right at this stage is genuinely, like, the most important part. Because it comes back to haunt you so much later if you don't. Okay. Bigger brush. For silhouette, yeah, I want proportions, but I also just want the stance. And we can... There's sort of like two phases to this. Let's see. As usual, I've sort of completely messed this up. Not messed this up, but messed up the sizing, and we're not going to have space for it again. So it's this, like, super excited, like, over-the-top excited pose, which is what's fun. Okay. There we go, that's got a fun sort of action to it. Sort of got the line of action, I suppose. But then, I'm sure there's a lot of merit to line of action, but it's so not helpful for early artists. In my opinion. My probably wrong opinion. I'm sure I'll look back on this in a year and be like, what? But how about this? Starting with a line of action is cool. Trying to identify a line of action in an existing pose is not helpful until you've got other, like, skills and understandings, because it's hard to differentiate it from just the pose, and because it can be somewhat subjective, but most classes don't treat it as, like, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of poses where there's an objective, like, that's a line of action. But, like, you get something like this, you've got, like, a stronger and a weaker line of action in it. You could have, like, a really good curve there, or you could have something a little flatter with this one. I don't think either of those is necessarily wrong. Or, like, you could try to, like, interpret it as a splitting the difference thing. And it's just a big old C-curve. But I don't think... I don't know that one of those is right and the others are wrong, but I also really don't know that it's actually helpful when you're trying to set up a pose as a beginner. Because, like, you're not trying to get that level of nuance right, you're just trying to get... like, figuring out weight and stuff is more important first. Let's see. Jeepers, it looks like some shambling nightmare. Granted, so did Olevine's at first, so maybe we're on the right track after all. Let's have another go. I'm gonna have to adjust the noise gate on this, aren't I? Because I don't want those chewing sounds coming through. I am so sorry. I hope they're not. I hope no one actually hears it and it just sounds like I'm pausing and then talking about sounds that aren't there. But I kind of doubt that's the case. Oh, right, it's because the boundary's there. Yeah, okay. The proportions and stuff are going to be interesting to figure out, but also the angle of these limbs are going to be interesting. Let's see. We've got, like, the shorts going on that'll get to, like, that top knee, but with triple joints it's going to be a little bit of a different pose. And I'm going to have to try to sort of think that through. Because it's basically at least with this reference, it looks like it's basically replacing the foot joint, and then you've just got like the toes as sort of the other replacement for the foot. So that means that I need to capture the feel of this pose without literally actually matching it, which will be interesting. Okay. Because the middle segment's like the shortest on these, which is a little bit different from human proportions, which is gonna make this fun. And I don't mean that in the sarcastic sense of fun, I mean like actually fun. Get ourselves a challenge on this. Is that... oh, right. It's a vector eraser, but this is not a vector layer. Okay, let's try to figure this out. Interesting. Oh, maybe if we have like the middle joint down, main leg out, and then like those. I don't think that's gonna be right. It would be good, honestly. No. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the free spam ad. Please do not post that. Anyone don't... oh, jeepers. Clear chat. Please don't... stinking... yes, please don't post garbage ads in chat. It's not helpful. Sorry, I'm after that stinking rude raid the other day, I'm like kind of done with this nonsense. I'm not a billboard, guys. There we go. Let's get that off of the view. It's probably not even worth banning that person because they're not going to show back up. I can report them though. That was not the right button. Ugh. There we go. Let's see. I don't know what the timestamp is. We've only just started. I guess we're about 22 minutes in. We'll go ahead and block them too. Why not? Sorry. After last time, I'm trying to actually get the hang of the mod tools. Didn't want to have to do that, but I figured I was going to at some point. I'm doing... there's more shape on these, and they do, like, continue the form of the original a little bit. Let's see. This will be an interesting one to try to sort out. Okay. What if we, like, keep the short segment mostly at this angle, and then have it be this one that's way back with some of the claws like that? I don't think claw is the right word. I'm gonna draw the rest and sort of see how the, like, mass of the shape lands, and then we'll adjust the feet again to match that. Let's see. So looking at this pose, we've sort of got the hands up to the face, which is fun. Probably could have just used, well, the famous painting scream pose probably wouldn't have been quite this dynamic for anything other than the expression, so. It's a slightly more, well, interesting. It's a fairly circular head shape on this one, so I'll try not to get too overboard on that. See, these ought to look at least interested, right? Guess they could converge. Kind of a tough angle to do it at, but that's something we could do. Okay, let's see. Ah, oh, okay, that's ponytail. Got it. These, okay, that's at like belly button level, really. Good practice for Ronnie at some point. How's that looking? Yeah, no, see, the legs aren't working at all on that now. So let's have one more go. Well, I say one more. I'm sure there shall be more. Many more. So proportion-wise, I mean, it's hard to... it's probably not wise to even try to map these to human legs. Yeah, no, that's not a good idea, because the knees are above and below typical knee point, respectively. So it's really more like... there if we map it 1-to-1. And so I'm going to have to get a little creative about not matching this pose's actual silhouette, but matching sort of the mood of it and general posture. Which on this one, I don't think will be crazy, because that does sort of map. I mean, we can make this less intense, honestly. There we go, something like that. It's got like a little bit of a taper. And we'll just try to get kind of a toe boxy thing going there. Okay, and then with this one, we know this one's going to come down lower just from the posture it has to. I guess we can sort of have the bend back be with this one, which does kind of line up with the calf there well. And then more straight down on these, which again, we get a bit of taper on it. And then we can get ourselves a toe box there. There we go. That feels like it matches it better. We're going to have to obviously build off of that some more, but it is a start. I don't know what to call this layer. It's a nothing layer. It is what it is. It doesn't... I'm going to call this... I'm going to do sketch as opposed to full-on lines. I think we're going to find a lot of stuff that needs shifting around as we go in on this one. Okay. I'm actually going to want dark lines on this one. So, let's see. No, of course, we've got the outfit, so we're going to have to stay true to that. Like the outfit. It's fun. Crop top's a good solution for the second pair of arms. Okay, so we've got, with this pose, we've sort of got waist going like here-ish. Probably makes this leg segment a little too long, but... Oh, but I'm still in the shaping layer anyway. Cool. So we can sort of... We'll go for a smaller size and aim for something more like that, mayhaps. Or perhaps we actually try to fix the darn proportions. Who'd have thunk? We'll move this down and try to move upper torso down as well. Yeah, wow, that's totally handwriting and not just a blob of ink. Crikey. Let's see. Shorts are fun. Let's think about, like, do we go with baggy? I guess that would kind of make sense. I like the cuff on the bottom of these too. That's fun. Just kind of loosing all of that in. Okay. Just trying to think about gravity on this. Not even like the character's movement, although I should consider that. But this seems like a static pose that just sort of like jump into when you see something cute. Let's see. Ah, rats. Okay, fine. We'll jump to the smaller eraser. We're starting to get that vector benefit. Really? Shocked that that wasn't blocked at some way or other. Okay. Again, I'm just sort of blasting this in to get a better sense of it. Whoops. We were still at like 300, weren't we? Yeah. Okay, so assuming... Hold on, let's think about the angle that we're at. I'd assume that we're at least taller than her knees. So this is going to be kind of curved down. Keep on anchoring it in. And there's a part of me that wants to try to get like slightly chitinous, however you say it, joints. Like with like a little bit of actual joint, but we'll see what we get to. There's also a part of me that wants to lean into like really long, like lanky legs for this, just because it's kind of an abstract shape and that can be fun with that sort of leg. I'm trying to think of other stuff that's a good example for that. But I don't know, because with normal human legs, I find that like hyper tapering it works, but it's still like, I mean, it's very stylized, whatever you're doing. And it often ends up looking off-putting just because of Uncanny Valley. But when something's already like not quite human, really leaning into a stylized leg can be fun. Like, you can get into some bold shapes with it. Maybe we do lean into that a little more. Like, actually aim to narrow a little bit. Not that I want to get too far off model mind, but you know, and I suppose in the same way you don't really want to get too far off human model when you're drawing people, but you can still, you know, have a fair bit of flexibility and just art styles for it. Plus, doing it like this will help us, it'll help accentuate the pose a little more in a way that doing the limbs in a slightly more traditional, it's the wrong word, proportions, wouldn't. So I think that'll be fun. Yeah, see, line weight, not a consideration right now because we're just sort of blasting this out. Let's see. They're kind of curved tops, so we'll stay true to that. And I guess, based on the reference, which I had to show it because I swear I recognize this character. I cannot for the life of me tell from what. Anyone know who this is? I couldn't find the reference at all, and it kills me. But this is the pose I'm going off of. We're obviously making some tweaks. Is this like a kid from a Disney show or something? I mean, that would make sense. There's like 16 different Mickey Mouse ears going on there. Okay, technically only 7, but that's still a lot for one drawing. And it kills me that I can't find the reference on it. Okay, the claws look somewhat parallel, actually. And this probably won't be super visible. From the angle we've ended up drawing it at, it'd probably be a bit. we're, you know, that's going to get sorted out when we sort out the line weight, so. Okay, trying to keep this roughly in sync with that one in terms of size. Let's see. Yeah, that'll do. Sort of pivoty joint. And going way back. Once again to a sort of pivoty joint. Let's think about where that's gonna be on the actual like pivot though. Yeah. Okay, we'll start with that. Ah, okay, we can actually kind of lean into this a little more. Well, I'm going to have to be careful not to lean into it too much, or else the character's going to lean the wrong way and the weight distribution's going to look bad. It's a start. Those toes are probably too pointed to, well, I mean, it's fairly in line with the ref. Yeah, I'm not sure. That kind of seems to work for now. Other than, actually, hold on. I may use the swivel just to do a rough in, and then, or the swivel, the select tool to swivel it just a little bit. Test a slightly harsher angle. See, no, that feels too much like actually tripping now. Like, I want to lean into the pose, but it also needs to actually seem weight balanced, and that wasn't looking at all balanced. Did the music just end? Where did it go? Oh no, it's there. Just super quiet. Here, sure, no, that was the spammer. Let's just look at this. Stay in the playlist, please. Okay. Cheapers. You find a good playlist and then you just forget to hit loop and it goes and does its own thing. I don't want to get in trouble for playing Minecraft music. I mean, I love to play Minecraft music. It's really great music, but letting it go on random during stream is not a good plan. I'm going to try leaning into the curve there a little more, and ultimately ending narrower to imply it's further back. We can go for slightly smaller of these points as well to help lean into that. Oh, that's far enough. I mean, proportionally it's further down than it is in terms of like, it's like at the 1/3 way up instead of closer to 1/2. But it's also still, you know, different proportions, so hopefully that's the right amount down. Okay. Now figuring out how this piece is going to bend will be interesting. Oh right, we were also going to shift the torso down a little bit, so that helps, actually. Whole shoulder line down. I'm just gonna shift the whole thing. I always end up giving a little too much depth to outfits, but like, yeah, no wait, hold on, baggy sleeve. Yes, let's go. Baggy sleeves all the way. Best sleeves. They're just more fun to draw. Let's see. If this connects here even. I guess it's a... Okay, no, I think that's a style choice. I was like, I was wondering if these can bend, but I think it's just, like, looking at the legs on the human, I think that's just a style choice, and they probably can. It's been a... I'm not sure. I think so, though. We're gonna run with it as if they can and hope for the best. That's gonna have a weird tangent. I should probably angle that up a little more. Don't be afraid to cover up where it connects. That's... How many layers did that just erase through? I guess there was just a weird line on this layer? Okay, huh. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Okay. No, hold on. Why is this one connecting so much higher? It should be like... Just to, even with the angle of the body, it should be just like a little bit higher. Again, I'm just sort of... This is hardly final line work. I'm hardly in a state of mind to be doing like final line work at all. I've stupidly worn myself out today. Why would I do this? Okay. We're gonna have to standardize our arm widths here in a minute. Let's see. It's got an interesting head shape. I don't know enough about actual ants to be able to say much, but it still seems to follow consistent enough proportions, so I can work with that. As I'd expect, you know. An artist who's animating things is going to have to still have a logic behind it. Said I still don't want this to be... Appreciate like the nose squiggle. I don't want this to be a directly on view because it's turning into sands for one thing, but also because that's not as fun or dynamic to draw, so we want it at least like a little bit over. And then looking back towards us, perhaps. And then we'd sort of been doing a slightly in lean with the antennae. Let's see, still got a bit of hair. Okay. And then ponytail coming down the back, so there's clearly more hair going on. Okay. Now, I know those upper torso proportions are bad, and that face is frankly nightmarish the way I've drawn it. That helps, but still, I'm gonna have to, like, actually work on that a little bit. But faces, regardless of species, are a problem for me, so... Okay, let's think. No, that would be more like that. It wouldn't be out that much. Okay. We curve that one more. This character can clearly still, like, bend and move, so... I'm gonna operate on an assumption of some amount of mobility still. In terms of, like, flexibility, too. Now, obviously, they can walk. Okay, interesting. I think in the ref the face is further down. That might be part of the reason it's looking a little off. I mean, there's obviously other reasons, but this way will at least resolve it lining up with the arms a little more properly. Because the face being weird doesn't explain why the shoulders looked wrong. I'm gonna clear a lot out on this part, actually. Just a lot of stray lines that ran into each other once we moved it. No point really keeping those. I don't think, anyway. If there was a point, I'd be happy to hear it. That billowy sleeve going. And then we can rotate this a little bit so that it looks a little more actually dynamic and fitting and in any way, you know, connected to the arm. That would probably be good. Okay. Now let's see how this looks if we maybe chill out just a little bit on the jaw and work on that face shape a little. Because it's kind of like it's a nice curve up there, and then this kind of arcs down, and likewise. Still kind of vase shaped, but there, that'll do for our super rough. Just in terms of like limbs being in the right place and stuff, because that's really our main goal here. Trying to think if the pose on those middle arms is actually halfway decent. Like, obviously, proportion-wise, I'm going to need to make them match the upper arms, because width-wise they appear to in the reference. But, yeah, I'm going to have to work on that a little bit. Also, is the torso too wide? I feel like the torso's too wide. Compared to both refs, actually. Let's try narrowing a little bit and then bringing some stuff over to match. Which, that always goes well, doesn't it? Using the move tool to just move giant swaths never betrays me. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Come on, clear that out. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, whoops. I don't know, it feels like I'm missing some of the dynamic of the original pose with this. But it's not like that's the curve. It's not like I just need to Because that would imply a different rotation is the thing, trying to just curve the top. And it's not literally just skinnier, because that's not right. Let's see. So in the reference, for context, what it looks like is sort of this. And then that comes down. Well, hold on. That, and then down. Which leaves with an interesting shape, more like this. Which isn't that far off from what we're actually getting. Let's see. That's probably a little less dynamic there, but that's basically what we're doing. If anything, the arc is actually more steep on this one. There's just other details that are sort of... Yeah, no, I don't know. Oh, maybe it'll help if I, like, add a little depth to the body. Oops. This part could probably still go to be narrower. Just a hair. Just because it's fun. Well, not because it's fun, just because it looks off otherwise. And maybe it's just because the character in the reference is, not this reference, but the actual like pose ref we're using is like fairly slim, and so that might be impacting it a little bit. But yeah. Okay. So, what about this? Baggy outfit, always fun. This could probably come down a little more if we're being honest. There we go. That's better. Okay. So there's our super rough. But that at least looks like a pose. Is there anything else? We did actually try to stylize the legs a little bit. Do we want to attempt similar things with the arms? Or even with the torso? Probably ought to leave the torso alone. Just a reminder of where we're coming from. This has ended up a little more hunchy. That's honestly fine by me. That kind of leans into the pose more. So let's think about actual line work now. Lines. We'll see how far we get on this. Can erase this nightmare text note. Looks like a message you'd see dripping blood on a mirror in a hotel or something, not like a reminder to adjust an art piece. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna once again get to a finer point of line. I see Muffant's done the thicker outer border, thinner inner lines. That's not a bad idea. I need to be more, what's the word, intentional with my line work. A lot of it's just like, oh, that looks kind of neat, and so I just run with something. And it's not like I'm actually understanding how it works or why it's neat for the lines. Like, my line quality is very random. It's part of why I use that straight up lineless art style and like micron pen brushes for so long. Although I do genuinely love the lineless art style. Something I want to get better at because it's very fun and satisfying. The art just looks so clean, you know? Like, I don't know how else to put it. It just looks really clean when you've got a good lineless. And like you're emphasizing the right details and stuff. Like, there's an art to it. It's a lot like pixel art where it looks like, oh, that's like beginner, easy, amateur, and it's like, no, it's the minimalism actually makes it harder in those kind of cases because you've got less to work with to convey the information. So you're like, ah, crud. That's part of the fun of pixel art. Pixel art feels like a completely different thing to me, just because it's such a challenge in its own right. Like the priorities you're taking on and focusing on are so different from what you're doing when you're, say, sketching or painting or most other formats. Pixel art's really, really interesting. And it's still, like, fairly easy to get started with compared to some other media. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still not, like, like super easy and just a given. But it's easier than some options. Lower bar to entry, I suppose. Let's see. Still kind of arced. Whoops. Okay, let's actually be a little more, once again, intentional with our line weight. Oh, jeepers. Okay. Clean that one up a little bit. And that one really ought to like sort of imply to be arced even like away a little bit to match this sort of curvature pattern we've got going with this one. Because this one's pointed down, that one's pointed more out. It's not like they're parallel, so this one really ought to be like, I ought to lean into that a little bit. Oh, yeah, there we go. That line wasn't supposed to be there anymore. But I also need to make sure it still looks like it's connecting in the right place. Okay. We're not going to see anything of the other side of that one. Okay. Once again, I feel like we had an intentional style with the legs and like idea of what we were going for, which makes them easier. We're going to have to be clever with the arms and then just hope for the best with the torso. Or maybe we'll come up with something, who knows. Let's see. Yeah, it kind of gives us sort of facsimile of a knee, even though it's not a knee at all. The lines do. They don't actually look like a knee, but they're the kind of line details you might find around a knee, so my brain's like, ah, it's a knee. Now's the part where I have to figure out the actual like bagginess of the pants and stuff. Yeah, I feel like this ought to arc down. Well, okay, hold on. If we're above it, then I think it ought to arc down for the angle that we're doing our pose at. Let's see. Okay. Get that one. Clear these two. Oh, I don't know why this song's reminding me. I heard a really nice Minecraft song cover the other day of Aria Math. I forget. I think they just called it like Arabic cover, but it incorporated a lot of the instruments that the synth in this song or in Aria Math sort of hints at. And I guess it's because this had some similar synth chords and stuff. But it like uses the actual instruments instead of what the synth is implying, and it along with some synth stuff too. Like synth is not bad and it's not artificially fake or whatever. It's just sometimes when you get the actual instruments in there to complement it, it really makes it pop. Let's see. That was the wrong button again. Whoops. That's what happens when I go wrong button the other way. Happens less, but we do run across it sometimes. There we go. We are getting better at lines. Like, it doesn't take 16 swings to get where we want to go anymore. That, I feel, is something worth celebrating in and of itself. Let's see, I know we're going to have to clean or darken those lines at some point, so may as well. This is going to be a funky joint. Okay, let's see. Now, question is, do we lean into this sort of even more arced in style that we've been doing? I think we need like a little curve there, but not much. Like just a hint and then down. Still want this ending width to be the same, so we're gonna have to widen it a little bit, but okay, let's try that. And let's cut it off like that. It doesn't make sense that the shape of the bowl would physically be different, or the shape of how it goes in, that wouldn't be different. Let's see. Okay. That's feeling better. Okay. Clear that. Now, once again, we're leaning into this more arced limb. I've been zoomed up too much. My lines got really small there for a while. We're going to have to reinforce those. I don't know why I got so nitpicky with that particular line. It's not like it was particularly essential to do so. Oops, let's see. Okay. Now, once again, because we're trying to imply that these ones are a little further away than the others, I'm going to try to stay true to the tilt that we established, either sort of like 3 ways out as opposed to 1, 1, 1. But I also want to make sure these claws are like literally drawn smaller so that that back leg looks actually further back like it should be. That's it. I think this arc, yeah, there we go. Okay, that needs to arc in a little less. That way the claw actually obscures the end of it, captures the pose better. There we go. The end of this line, to be clear. More accurate to how the claw is drawn in the reference, which is actually still much wider than I've drawn on either foot, I suspect, but yeah. We can go a bit wider. Physically, there's no way we'd be able to see that. Just trying to think out how everything's going to line up. That's like a little too spread, I feel. Yeah. Solvable, though. Very much solvable. Just need to take a second and zoom out, see where we're at. Okay. I mean, this definitely should be in front, but there's some part of my brain that's telling me that this ought to be like that instead. Actually, that does feel better, and it kind of puts this leg on... But okay, yeah. Fair enough. Gut instinct actually right for once, maybe. Who'd have thunk? We'll see, though. We're going to come back in like 45 minutes here and just be like, oh, the gut instinct led us all astray. Oh, no. Okay. Bring that all in. Jeepers. For finished lines, these sure are stinking scratchy. Because I've gone over them so many times that I'm gonna have to like come back to these after a pause of working on something else just to like refresh my brain. Okay, let's see, because that's Jeepers, yeah. Fix those. That's what I need to do. Okay. Now, next up, we're going to get into some other interesting stylization options here, trying to figure out the arms. But before that, I'm going to take a quick break to get a drink of water, use the restroom, all that jazz. I recommend y'all do the same. Don't just sit here and, like, let yourself cramp up. Trust me, it will come back to haunt you much sooner than you think. Until then, I hope y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all in just a couple minutes. Howdys and salutations, we're back. Thank y'all for waiting. Oh, just in case anyone didn't catch it at the start of the stream, just a reminder that tomorrow is actually the 1-year stream anniversary for Sif Streams, which is crazy to think about. Feels like it's been so much more than a year. We've done so much. Like, I can't even do like a montage or everything, and especially because, unfortunately, our anniversary lands right in the middle of stinking Art Fight. Which, I love Art Fight too much to want to pause it, but I'll do some special stuff for tomorrow. And, oh hey, Dexfloor, thanks for following. Hope I read that right. Catching us at a good time. But yeah, so anyway, tomorrow we're going to do some stuff, like tomorrow's mainly going to be announcing stuff that's upcoming. We're going to do Art Fight, we'll have a few novelty things. I'm going to launch one brand new thing. That's probably too strong a word, but I've got one thing planned that we're going to try to do that's brand new tomorrow. But then we'll talk about what's upcoming, new plans for August and onward, some more community involvement collaborative stuff, and yeah, it should be fun. So keep an eye out for all that tomorrow. Until then, And obviously more art fight too. We're going to be doing lots of art fight. Because I'm going to be away next week, so I need to fit in as much art fighting as possible today. Gotta max that out. So, to pick that back up, we're doing art of Muffant's character. The face is obviously not finished over here. You've got the actual reference here. We've got it sort of posed on our end, but we've still got some stuff what needs working out. So, to that end, let's just keep on working our way up. Oh, right, where we left off, we'll go back and fix those toes later, hopefully at the end of the stream. Maybe sooner, we'll see. Just gotta give them a break. But we did leave off with the arms and the question of, do we want to stylize them somewhat like we've done the legs, where it's got a little more taper? I'm kind of thinking yes, just because I think that's fun. So the question then becomes, which direction, or what? Well, I mean, there's a million and one questions that come with that. But A, how much do we want to taper it? I feel like that's too narrow. We really want to base it more on the upper arms here. But one of the questions is also, there we go, something like that, is also how do we want to actually angle them? Do we want these tapered up like this, or do we want them tapered down more like this? I feel like up is actually going to work better for kind of an excited feel. They both could. But I'm going to start with up and go from there. And we'll see how that goes. This gives us a chance to really lean into like this being like a big old sleeve cuff down here too. Because it's a little more visible with this style, with it like stylized like that. Let's see. You can sort of, yeah, something like that mayhaps. We'll have to see it at the end, of course. Unfortunately, styling it like this does reveal like a little bit more of this torso shape that we're not quite sold on yet. And these aren't final lines, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull them out instead. And then the other thing to think about here is the claw. Like basically, if we're going to taper this, we need to think about the wide end, which we've got the elbow down here, which we can sort of match in size and shape to the one above. But then we also need to think about where it's landing, because we've got these claws here. And I don't know that claw is the right word for ant and ant-like creatures, like Muffant's characters are. Let's see. But it also means that I don't necessarily want to make the claws themselves too small, just to account for the fact that it tapers a lot. Because they're still, like, you know, hands are emotive and expressive, whatever your species is. Well, not whatever, but for most character types. So we'll try to lean into this. Let's see. Part of the adventure of art fight is you never know what you're going to end up drawing. I'm going to definitely have to round off the tips on these like a little bit so they're not so scary looking. Because it's supposed to be a, you know, friendly and excited character for the most part. Not a nightmare fuel monster. That's pretty good. We'll have to fix this joint a little bit, of course. But that's certainly doable. Actually, kind of having both there was interesting. Yeah. Gives it more of a joint feel, I guess, as opposed to just a joint feel. Not entirely sure where I was going with that. Okay, zoom out, check-in time real quick. If we lose the back, does this part look coherent? So far, yes, although we've forgotten where the arm attaches, so I'm glad we did that just to catch that. Let's see. That'll also help emphasize the taper a little bit. And then we can sort of continue on. Oh, I guess this is an important point where we've sort of got our line of sight, which I guess we're throwing kind of in the middle of the illustration. What I mean for that is not line of sight, but the horizon line. And the main reason that's relevant is for like closed cuffs and stuff. Because assuming there's a cylinder directly in front of us, it's going to look I don't know, something like this. The top's going to curve upwards, the bottom's going to curve downwards. You're not going to see the top or the bottom of it if it's directly in your line of sight. But if you've got the same cylinder below you, you're going to see a lot of the top and still none of the bottom. Or the same cylinder above you, you're going to see a lot of the bottom and none of the top. Most of the time when you're drawing, you don't necessarily... Like, look, proportions and perspective are important, but you don't need to be doing this mental math. However, for things like clothing cuffs here, or like this cuff here, and the underside of this shirt versus the top of these shorts, it does kind of matter. Because we need to make sure that we're putting them in a way that logically makes sense relative to where our horizon is. So if our horizon's higher, then, like, theoretically this shirt would be arcing more down as opposed to up. Or if it was lower, then the pants would potentially look more up than down. Now, obviously having a character tilt can mess with this, because if you take this cylinder right in front of us and just, like, angle it to face us for the most part, like, obviously... Yeah, you're gonna be able to see the top even though it's technically in front of us. I mean, heck, if you angle one end at us, you're only gonna be able to see that, and the rest of it's just like pointed away. So that's, you know, it's not, I'm not doing like complex like precise perspective here, but it's just sort of like a quick and easy rough rule that I'm trying to follow. That should help things look a little more consistent and help make it look, I don't know, more believable and less jarring. When drawing, like, characters and naturalistic forms, there's a million and one things that can be the cause of why it just looks off, but you're not sure why. But oftentimes I found it's little perspective things like that, where you're like, oh, it's because I drew it where this piece looks like it's at a different angle to the viewer than it should be. That's why it looks off. That has bitten me an embarrassing number of times, as I think it probably has most artists, to be fair. Okay, let's see. I'm going to assume another, like, small hand here. Another elbow. This one a little more out, rather, like, out to the side, rather than down, like, downwards, as in, like, that's more 45. This, it's not quite 30, but it's, you know, different angle. Point being to sort of match the upper arms, which match our reference for the pose. Right, hold on, is that even... Yeah, but I'm over-exaggerating that bump a little too much, probably. Yeah, a lot too much. Well, let's stick with something more like that for now. Whoops. There we go. Okay, and then we'll figure out how these hands are going to work together and exactly how we want to draw them. Because there's a part in my mind where it's basically like just pressing the hands together excitedly is sort of what I'm envisioning. But I'm trying to figure out how to do that with this type of hand. Let's see. Okay. Keep on going. Whoops, we'll keep on going with this. But may have to adjust some arm lengths or something, because I don't want these to look too much like they're different lengths of hand, because that's going to be jarring. Whoa, that was almost an annoying erase. I guess it's the same amount of annoying because, yeah, don't do it all the same, but still. There we go, something more like that. And then I think what I'm going to do is actually grab this whole segment and move it a little more centered and up. That way we can kind of lean into the joints, just extending both of these arms. I'm gonna have to clean up our line work on that. Whoa, 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 what did I just do? I don't know what that was. I feel like I changed the layer type and it had to go through a calculation to figure out the lighting or whatever it was doing. Bizarre. Because I don't think I have a hotkey for that. And again, there's probably one built in, but it feels like that should be the kind that's pretty hard to hit by accident. Okay, let's see. Hey, okay. Keeping this going. Okay. Making steady progress. I'm still not anywhere near those folks who can just, like, sit down and in one day knock out their entire art fight, like, an entire attack or two. I don't know how people do that. It's amazing. Let's see it without the ref so that I can fix the alignment on these hands a little bit, because it's off. Oops, a little too hard with that one. That should be better. Not perfect, but yeah, better. Sufficiently good enough. Oh, we forgot a line over there. Let's go fix that. And we can be a little heavier handed. These lines now. Suppose we could add like a little elastic or something to this. Make it pop a bit more. Give this kind of a sharper contrasty edge too, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Whoops. Not that one though. Oh, really? That's... wow. Another one of those just tiny sneaking through an intersection. I don't know how that's happening. It's kind of neat, but it's not helpful. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I realize I'm just saying okay and let's see to myself repeatedly. I don't really have that much interesting to talk about at this point. I'm just sort of drawing at it. It's been a day of organizing and clearing. Hope y'all are having good days. Hope anyone doing art fight is having fun so far. It's I don't know, it's supposed to be a lot of fun. So hopefully it has been for everyone. Never too late to submit a character if you haven't already. Or if you want to wait until the very last day to throw a character sheet on there just to give yourself the lowest odds possible of getting fan art, that is an option too. Okay, let's see. And we'll try to keep like fairly loose fabric going here. There we go. We'll start with that. That point needs to be more vertically down from this, methinks. From here, more vertically straight down, not as much pulled back. There we go. Yeah, I wish I had anything exciting to tell y'all about, but it's literally just been like cleaning shelves. I guess there is something exciting about cleaning stuff from like 10 plus years ago. And the horrifying realization that you still have it. You're like, oh no, this should have been tossed a long time ago. But also it's kind of fun to see what you were up to so long ago. I did find some old D&D campaign notes. Back when I was still trying to do like enemy swarm tactics in a game that's not designed at all for large open battles like that. Yeah, that was exciting. Those never went well, but they were fun. Fun to plan, at least. I'm not sure they were fun to play. Still got notes from the campaign I've got in a custom world that I doubt that party's going to get back together, but it'd be fun if we did. Let's see. And then notes from the current campaign I'm DMing. Just all sorts of stuff. I think I found one of my first character sheets, too, from way, way back when. Like, these are characters that are even older than Sifimir, who is, you know, obviously kind of become an important one for me. It's only my entire online persona. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're gonna have to work on the face, of course, but we can at least check on arm placements. See how that stuff's going, and then maybe we can take another look at those toes. It's been a hot minute. We could have another go. Yeah. Because the head's going to be a challenge in its own right. Which, I mean, no shocker there, really. Okay, we can probably lose the word fix at this point. And let's toss away the underlying sketch and actually just try to find something that fits the current setup. Looking at how this is angled, and looking at how we've done the other one, guess we can check our reference here. Yep, okay. I think this is actually intended not just to be like a point, but actually to be split. So I may do like a little bit of a gap there. It's interesting. Well, I guess there really shouldn't be a gap so much as just an indication of it, which is at this angle isn't going to be super clear. Like, yeah, it's just going to be like that, which is just a wider line. But for this other one, it might matter. Okay. So for starters, let's do the one that actually lines up with the direction of the foot the most directly. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can do size comparison, because I want them to be smaller, but not like insanely smaller. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Oh, by the way, how's the... For anyone just jumping in, if you're up for it, how's the sound quality right now? Is it better than usual, worse than usual, about the same? I've been trying to tweak the settings to improve it, and trying different devices and such, so hopefully it should be good. But we'll see. You know, worst case scenario, I'll check the VODs and see what happens. Hopefully it'll be better. Ah, okay, I figured out one of the issues with these toes. I'm not thinking about like the actual plane that the foot is resting on. So I'm like getting weird angles. Thanks, Kelson. Good. If it's sounding normal, then that is good. Normal is good. Let's see. Smaller one pointed at us. Mostly the overlap between these two that's kind of giving me grief at this point. Thanks for the feedback. Appreciate it. Stinking sound like a Google survey saying that. Thank you for your feedback. It is very much appreciated and will be taken into consideration. Okay, at least it's not distractingly off this time, but it does still feel a little bit wrong. Perhaps it needs to actually be somewhat visible on both sides and we actually get a point. But the connection on this is going to have to be lower than where that... Okay. So that means that our angle ends up a little weird. You need a smaller eraser. Yeah. Not sure about this. Well, then again, that's starting to work. Probably should have left well enough alone, but you know, Now that we've already not done that, we can continue to not do that. Oops, really? That's just one line? Huh. I expected that it was going to be a result of too many lines, because its line weight's a little much. I say, and then draw a line with exactly the same line weight. Okay, hold on. My brain just can't figure out what perspective this is supposed to be in. Because it feels like we shouldn't be able to see past a certain point. But if that's the case, then we shouldn't be able to see past it. Whatever. I'm going back to the previous set. That was a little better. Not at all perfect, but better. That's why I'm going to tweak the lower line of this one. Nope, because that implies it's parallel. There we go. That's better. Okay, maybe if we just make that one smooth continuous line, it'll sort of shift from the in perspective to out of perspective section. Or in view from out of view naturally, and it'll be okay enough. I'm spending too much time on this. This is entirely not important to the final, like, appearance of this at all. Whoops, no, not that line. This line. When you end up going over something with so many lines over and over, you end up with a whole bunch of, like, stray ones that aren't important that you have to, like, clean up. Okay, hold on. Nope, just kind of match the line weight. It's the worst part of these things, is trying to match the line weight. It's the other benefit of things like Millipen, because it's just a consistent line weight, so you don't have to worry about it being like narrow and then big and then narrow again. And again, worm on a string, which is what this looks like. Pretty fun. Okay, but we'll put the worm away for now. I learned the other day that apparently Artfight has a, like, from 2019, has like a semi-legendary worm on a string art piece that scored like 15,000 points, which is just wonderfully absurd. Because basically they recreated, what was it, Starry Night? But all of the swirls were additional illustrations of the same worm on a string character. So they'd drawn this character like hundreds of times by hand, or else it wouldn't have qualified, but the mods and judges deemed it worthy, and so it basically, the point value of that art piece alone was more than the difference between the two teams, so it did get their team the win, like, objectively, which is hysterical. I stinking love that. Nonsense like that, because it's, you know, that's still, like, they put a lot of time and energy into that. It's not like it was a low effort, just like garbage cheap way to max points. They put in the hours needed for it, which is what makes that so funny. I had been wondering why one of the example images for blob characters specifically called out worm on a string characters. And I suspect that singular post is the reason. Okay. Man, every single time I come in here and, like, at the 1 hour mark, I'm like, oh, cool, we're making great headway. We'll definitely be done with the lines, like, with plenty of time to go. And then 30 minutes later, I'm like, we're not even close. I hope we get to flats. Which we might, or we might not. Okay, so the sketch layer is not the most helpful for this, I'll be honest. I'm gonna have to dig out my reference image again. Nope, that's not it. Okay. We'll pull it like that. Slide that over a little bit. Okay. Okay. So if we want, first off, let's actually figure out the perspective of this thing. For better or for worse, it's a thing I need to I always need to do this, and I stinking never do. This way, slight tilt. So overall shape is going to have a slight tilt as well. It's basically a front view with only a tiny bit of the side visible. None of the bottom. We're actually going to be seeing from a... Oh wait, no, hold on. Perspective-wise, that wouldn't line up with everything else. Let's go with a tiny bit of the bottom visible. I think that will line up better with what we've been doing. So we've got kind of a box that it fits in. And the face doesn't literally have to fit in that box, it just has to be lined up with it. And that should give us a little more to go off of in terms of shape and help out with some things. So with that in mind, let's actually work on the lines. Ooh boy. Okay. So we don't have a nose as a reference point, but we can sort of still have a central mouth. And I'm going to go for a central, like, not a central eye line, but an eye line there. That's about halfway up. Based on the shape, it's still got, let's see, compared to human, it's got like slightly or smaller overall head shape, which means the cheeks tend to stick out a little more. Perspective-wise, though, we're still definitely going to want to emphasize this one more, and then kind of the angular in. Coming down, angles back up a tiny bit, but we're going to still have some there, because this top part, rather than a human, where it'd be, well, it wouldn't be that flat. Human would be more like this. But this one we're going to aim for like slightly flatter. Humanish. Humanic. I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. Let's see. Whoops. Good, we'll get to see one of those antennae coming through. Or, I don't know, pincer, maybe? I don't know the word for those, actually. Let's see. It's got to be an excited. Yeah, there we go. I don't know what the inside of alien mouth would be like. I'm going to mimic the human mouth shape for that one. And we're going to move this line out of the way because we don't need it anymore. We'll scoot the eyes down just a hair. Well, no, not really. And they've got hyper detailed eyes, which we're probably not going to be able to match style-wise. But we can have some fun with it. Okay, once again, remembering our perspective shape here. Those are kind of tilted too close together. And then we've got the third eye up on the top, which, if we're seeing from below, which I've kind of not stayed true to, honest to goodness. Hold on, how's this look without the sketch? My brain's like trying to parse too many things at once. Right, because if we're below, then we'll be able to see like some of the chin and stuff. If we're above, we'll be able to see more of this eye. And it'd be good to be consistent compared to everything else, but also we want the character to be small. We'd want to be able to see it from above. And I think I actually did do this with a line as though we're above it anyway. So other than the sleeve, we're basically set for that perspective. Cool. We could always do the sleeve like that too, but... yeah, that kind of works actually. Not quite. I mean, this looks punchier. We can kind of fudge it a little bit on this one. That's fine. Shh, don't tell anyone. There's definitely no one watching to know that I'm fudging it on that. Okay. Let's see. I'll sort of mimic what they've been doing with the hoodie here. I hadn't really been... truth be told, I hadn't been putting a lot of thought into how that was going to work. Maybe we can give it drawstrings or some such. Who knows? Undertale has ruined me. Anytime I see a character in a hoodie, my brain is immediately Sans. It's like, no. Not even like a little bit. Not Sans. We are sans today. And really the arc of this ought to be more like curved down by the weight rather than up. Yeah, there, that's better. Oops, still wanted that line. Another one of those where we're just like barely missing it. Ah! Okay, I'm gonna have to just cut directly across. Dagnab. I'm just gonna have to just straight up toss the old one. It's not worth trying to maintain it when it's being that finicky. Get some of those out of there so that it's not overlapping so bad. We'll have a little cleanup on this. We can lose that. Let's see. How do these connect, I wonder? Somewhere back here. I'll try not to overthink it too much. Roughly at mouth level or below, so... Let's see. Let us see how we want to do this. We won't actually have like a literal box line there. Might see a little bit of how this one connects though. That'd be interesting. We've potentially done a little too much to 3/4 view this. Like the roundness of the head probably needed to chill out a little bit, but we can work with that. Okay, clear that one out, clear some of this. Whoops, did not mean to have the eraser on for that. There we go. This one back. Oops, nope, we don't want a weird tangent there. Let's just do that and then clear out that weird stray bit. Okay. So they had something there, just, well, maybe not that. Something there to imply nose. I don't like the clowniness of that either. I'm gonna go with slightly smaller pupils on this one. I've been doing a lot of really big pupils lately, and while it's fun, it definitely like ends up not matching the detail that well with the other stuff I've drawn, so I need to work on that. That's kind of too tangent, probably. Arc that up a little more. Let's see. Gonna have to tweak that. 100% gonna have to tweak that, but that's okay. And you know, I'm gonna say that this still isn't visible from where we're at. Where are we on this? Right, okay. I've got kind of the hair, and then ponytail coming out the back, so presumably there's like a little bit of hair going on still. Let's see. Let us just see what we're up to here. I'll do a zoom out real quick, get the full view. We're getting there. Bit by bit, we're getting there. I'm realizing that these hands are like way too small compared to everything else, so we'll have to tweak that. Grow hands, not wrists, though. That's not how you spell hands. Grow some Hans and some Sholos. Okay. Wrists. Oh, that line doesn't even need to be there. Okay, hold on. We'll have to tweak the eyes a little bit, but it should at least be looking downwards at something. Well, specifically, I assume this would be Muffant's reaction to seeing an ant. We get the sketch view. Let's, like, chill on the overall upper head roundness. What? No, that. Okay. Enough to be at a slight tilt, but not so much to be, like, that Mondo thing going on. Okay, and then we'll want to still have, like, some side view going on here. A little bit more of this one visible from the side than the other one, because of where it is position-wise. Let's see. Oh, man, how many little lines have I already mistakenly, like, placed in here? Dag nab. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. I had that brief moment of fear that I think everyone has when you're drawing on these tools of, oops, wrong layer? Nope, we're fine. This is why decreasing the opacity of the other layer is handy, because it's that extra guarantee that you're, in fact, on the right layer. Let's see. There we go. The pupils were looking too tired. We can still have tall pupils without them being, or tall irises, without it being, like, overly cartoony. There we go. Okay. Trying not to make it look like a Ninja Turtle. Just a vaguely similar head shape, and so it's easy enough to accidentally lean into the wrong thing. We do not, in fact, want the ninjas to go. No, give me that one, thank you. Let's get that out of there. Straight lines. Okay. Let's see, we're coming up on the end of the stream here today. Still, I think have enough time to wrap up the line work, but probably not do, like, great cleanup on the face, so that's something that we'll want to tweak. And we'll still have to do the hands, so okay, there'll probably still be some line work for tomorrow. Unless we, you know, just stay a little long today, which I'm kind of down to do, actually. I've got stuff I need to prep for tomorrow's anniversary stream, of course. But yeah, otherwise... Right, hold on, perspective-wise... I think that's fine. Gonna have to tweak the angle of these arms a little bit, just so that they fit the reference that we've got. And then, let's see. Whoa, okay, let's not go crazy eyes here. Oh dear. Eyes, always a wonderful challenge. Hey May, how are you doing? Good to see ya. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully we can offer a slightly cheerier place here to help cheer you up. Let's see. Ooh, that's no fun. Yeah, that's... I mean, there's ways to... At least that's something that can be, like, worked on and solved, but that's still not fun. I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. That does slightly dampen the art fight enthusiasm too. But I mean, there's so much other stuff to do with art fight. You don't have to actually be able to draw to do it. But yeah, it's... I need to probably like start stretching my wrists and stuff too. That's not a bad warning. So it's ever a risk haunting around the horizon. But hopefully that can recover and heal for you soon, and it won't be hurting too bad. Let's see. Clear that one up. That one needs to be tilted more down than the others from its position, doesn't it? Triple eyes are hard to sort of line up. Oh, directly at the viewer is slightly off-putting. You can maybe try a little less detail in here. Sometimes that helps. We'll see. Oh, yeah, Smash Bros. Will stinking do that. Yeah. Yep. That, I mean, that... Say no more. That explains it all. Oh, wait, really? You actually play competitive? That's darn impressive, honestly. As someone who is hot garbage at that game. It's still fun, but I am bad. I'm always impressed by anyone who can actually do the competitive level. Jeepers. Yeah, uh-oh. Got too much going through your head at once? Because, like, I'm over here playing stinking Smash Bros. Brawl and losing with Meta Knight. So, like, do not expect skill from me in that game. Yeah. No, on the hands, too. That, yep. I mean, that's sort of the challenge with a lot of like games once you get to high level. Kelson, that works too. The chaos approach. Yeah. Well, the good news is that that's the kind of thing that does heal with time. So at least like that will get better. But yeah, you just have to be careful with it in the meantime, which is less fun. I know there's like, well, there's like stuff that you can supposedly like types of gloves and stuff that can help with it, but also don't take medical advice from streamers like me. I don't stinking know. But it might be worth looking up like low impact controller positions and stuff, because there may be ways to still play that aren't as intense on the hands. Like, I know there's a lot of speedrunners who, for certain games, they have to, like... because they run them so much, and they're having to play at a competitive level like that, they've, like, got different techniques and stuff they've come up with, so... Maybe something there. Ooh, but yeah, if it's already the phase where it burns, that's, Yeah. If it's burning, that's less great. You just gotta take it easy on that one. Ah. Well, hopefully that'll be a quick recovery for you. Oh, it's got kind of like a fluffy thing going on with the antennae. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to tweak that a little bit. Whoops, why did I think that would work? Okay. I mean, I guess you could probably stream a visual novel. Those are easy on the wrists, I suppose. Probably not exactly the kind of gameplay you're going for, though. Yeesh. You just gotta, like, sit down with your muscles and tendons and have a talk and tell them, like, hey, y'all need to chill. Sure, I'm sure a real heart-to-heart with them, they'll see the light. Just need a little pep talk. Once again, your daily reminder to not take medical advice from streamers. Okay, not the best line quality on that, but... Oh, wait, that's the eraser still. How on earth? There we go. Yeah, I guess forced rest is still... I mean, it's not fun, but it is still not technically bad. Gotta rest where you can. Okay. Not liking how this version of the fluff is going. Let's have a fresh go at that. Okay, let's see. Might be able to get like something not quite symmetrical, but you know, we could sort of loop in a little there. I will say it's amazing how easy it is to injure some things. Like, for as much as we use our wrists, it's amazing they aren't, like, stinking always damaged. Like, I was trying to screw the door of a cabinet back onto it from, like, the wrong side, and so I was having to reach around and do some weird 180-degree turn thing, and, like, I was just sitting there thinking, my wrist is, like, going to die any second now. And it almost did, but... but not. So, honestly, it's... I don't know. I always try to stink and look on the upside even when it's annoying, so I apologize if this is annoying, but I'm gonna celebrate the fact that the wrists ever work, because they're stupid complicated. So, good luck. Hopefully yours will be up and running in good condition again soon. Okay, so they've got the matching sort of ponytail dealio. Which makes sense because it's the same character. Alright, now it's just a matter of getting the hands sorted out, and then we'll be set for the line work. Which means next time we'll be able to do colors, and because this has a good color and shadow palette, that'll actually be, you know, doable. We'll probably have to add more detail to the eyes, but that's okay. Because they expressly call out eye colors. But like, I don't know, adding that seems to make it kind of too busy. We could. Whoops. Yeah, that's why I shouldn't do this kind of fill-in thing with vector lines. I should know better than that by now. Whoops. Okay. Kind of do something more like this, maybe. That'd work for the style. You can scoot this one a little more centerward. Yeah, that'll work. More like that, maybe. We'll see. We'll see when we get like the shading and get a nose in here and how that's looking. Okay, I'm gonna do the easy hands first because I want to put off the hard hands. Let me get them to like the right size first, and then I will fix the connection. Zoomed in, that felt big, but zoomed out, it still feels kind of like a little too small. Better to lean into it, honestly. Whoops, okay. Okay, now maybe I can just grab some of these lines and rotate them and it'll work. Or I guess I can use the grab tool and that'll do too. It'll just get some weird edges right there. And right there. Okay. Whoops, that's too much. Now you may be thinking, Sifamir, that wrist isn't going to match up at all. And you'd be mostly right, so we're going to have to get creative about fixing that. I'm also just going to redo this line so that it connects in the right way. That's easier. Clear those out. We'll have to, I guess, actually get the top of that arm too. Interesting. We can start the taper. We'll get the billow and like the elastic. There we go. Whoops. Okay. Really? Okay, there we go. Too many lines in one place. Let's see. What day is it? Okay, it's Monday. Cool. Then we've still got the whole week ahead of us. Rare to actually be excited about that, but gives me a little time still to prep on some things. There we go. So there's one arm with entirely too much taper. gonna have to get real... I say real creative. Really, it's just gonna be hope for the best with this. And then I suppose that's gonna have to arc up a tiny bit around, because the elastic's not actually going to go over the arm very well now, is it? I mean, it could do it a bit, but not well. Oh, really? Okay. But then, of course, if I do that, it doesn't line up very well on the other side. So maybe we just leave it, have it like arc over the arm a little bit. Oops, okay. Fine, I'll just scoot that one down the manual way. Let's see, what else have I been doing? I guess, well, not a lot since the last stream, but I have still been playing more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Well, Scarlet, specifically. And, it is certainly a game. Like, on the one hand, I'm starting to get into it. There's definitely, like, fun stuff in it. But, man, I thought Sword and Shield cut out a lot of, like, the polish that made it feel like a world rather than just a game, but this one really cuts out a ton of it. That's not to say I don't like it. I am enjoying it. But it's definitely like, despite being a bigger world with more stuff in it, it still manages to feel emptier. That said, it's definitely better than my first impressions led me to believe. On my first playthrough, I took one exit out of the school, and then basically, it's not that I gave up on the game because of that. I'd been sort of tired and got busy, but I felt no need to go back after exploring in that direction. From what I can tell, I must have found, like, the most boring city in the entire game. Like, when I went the other way, I found intriguing towns with unique characters and, like, actual history and stuff that's fun, but that other town I went to, and like, I don't know, maybe there's more to it. I did show up at night, so I couldn't see much other than just like the city itself, but it had like 4 buildings, and you could go in like 2 of those buildings, and I don't know, it was not, it was so utterly underwhelming that I was like, oh, if this is what the game is, then I don't particularly care to play it. But no, it's been fun now. Starting to get into it, starting to connect with my team a little more. I am still getting bugs, though. When my Florigato evolved, because it was, I assume it's because it was after a Titan cutscene, so it went from the you beat a Titan cutscene directly into the evolution one. So it evolved, but on the same time as it was evolving, on the screen behind it was itself. There was a second Florigato, presumably from the other cutscene, just sort of standing there. I'll have to dig out the screenshots. It was cracking me up. Because then it evolved in the Meowscarada. Meowscarada. And so there's a Meowscarada and a Florigato just standing there. I was like, what's happening? Am I going to get the evolved Pokemon or not? But we did. So yeah, it has its fair share of problems. Probably more than its fair share of problems. I'll say this, it's better than Cyberpunk. Now that's a broken release. This at least has, game in it that is usable. The same cannot be said for Cyberpunk. Not on release, anyway. Yeesh. Okay. Once again, I should have used the trick. There's a trick in drawing. Trick's the wrong word. A smart thing to do when drawing that I didn't do. And I should do it more. But I get overconfident from other stuff, and then I don't do it. And it's draw the hands before you draw the arms and elbows, so that you know where the shoulder is, you know where the hand is, and then it's much easier to draw the arms between those 2 points, even at weird angles. Because if you draw the shoulder, and then you go out to the arm, and then you get to the hand, you're like, wait, crud, this isn't where I need it to be. Like, a lot. It happens so much. This one's at least, like, close enough that I might be able to make it work. Okay. This other one, though, is going to be a little bit more of a stretch. And even then, that joint looks a little janky. Okay. There we go, smoothing out the lines, that's better. It's still a harsh angle, but it's workable. Now for the other one. Which is going to be slightly trickier, I imagine, because we've got to also navigate it around this. And all of the collar stuff, which is going to cause some weird tangent lines that I don't want. So we're going to have to... I keep saying we're going to have to be clever. That's not really the right word. We're just going to have to, like, think about it and actually do it right. It's not really clever, it's just... we're going to have to actually draw and, like, put thought into said drawing. Oh, heaven forbid. Alright, so the hand's there. Now I just need to get this arm to that hand. Okay. Lengthwise, it's probably going to be too far to make it believable. Whoa, not the eraser. Eraser coming in clutch at the last second to completely mess me up at the end of stream every time. Amazing how it do that. So consistent, reliable. Thank heavens for the undo button. Wish I had it in real life. Just because I pulled that eraser nonsense with actual art too. Okay, let's see how this looks. I have my reservations that it might not look good. Nope. Too much taper. Gonna have to be a little bit bigger when it gets there at the end. Something like that, maybe? I mean, it certainly doesn't read super great, just because those lines are so fine and detailed in an area otherwise. Oh, hey, Tomo, welcome! And a topical reminder on stretching, never a bad idea. Thanks for dropping in! Yeah, we're... Jeepers, I'm already over time for the stream. Actually, we'll have to figure out someone to raid on the art fight tag, probably. And see if I can do that without totally messing it up this time. But first off, I'm so close to finishing this line work for Muffant. We're doing an attack on Muffant. Also Team Vampire, I'm also Team Vampire. It's a friendly fire. But dagnabbit, you know, sometimes you just want to do, like, art for someone. And you're like, well, whatever party it is, let's do it. Okay, we'll go for slightly larger. We'll probably be around for another couple of minutes while we get this wrapped up. I'm amazingly slow at line work. Oh, thanks. Yeah, Muffant's characters are fun, but it's definitely a whole different challenge to try to draw. So how's your art fight been going? I'm moving slow, but we're getting there. We've got 2 attacks so far, and we've gotten, well, I always mix it up from perspective. I've done 2 attacks. This will be number 3 once it's done, and I've received one attack in kind, or revenge technically. That's where the R came from. Okay, revenge attack, sure. But, it's moving along. You've been having a good art fight so far? Actually seeing attacks? Getting to do anything? Or are you just chilling and enjoying it? Dang, you move fast. I'm always amazed at people who can keep up that kind of pace. Well, it's not helped that I have a stinking day job, so that locks out 8 hours every day of not doing art. But I can't complain that much. Even so, still, 17 is impressive. We're only on day 10. That's incredible. Okay, that's better on the arm. Sizing it up was the right call. Maybe we can do that to help with some of the tangents a little bit. So these straight lines get so messy. That helps, yeah. No, I mean, I revenge every attack I get. It's just, I feel like with art fight, at least in my experience, and maybe it's just, I don't know, the luck of the draw, but I never get attacked first. I always have to go out and do the attack, and then someone will come back. Not that I'm complaining, mind. That's part of the fun of the game. And I am more than happy to go out there and take the initiative. But yeah, I'll have to check yours out. Is your art fight name the same as your Twitch handle? We've done that. We can erase that note. Let's see. Gotta clean up the line weight in just a couple of quick places. Don't want to spend too much time on it, but we'll do a little bit. Honestly, yeah, if you interact with people in streams, they'll attack you. It's really funny. Care Bear Tomo. Okay, cool. I'll have to check you out. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that's how... I ran into Galactic Tragedy the same way. They popped into my stream, so I did an attack on them, and then they did a revenge, and, it's just going out and actually talking to people is what does it. I need to do more of that on Twitch. Yeah, I'm Sifamir on there. In fact, I think I've got even, a pop-up I can do. Should link you right to it. That way you don't have to do the weird, typing in mess. Because the user search in art fight's a little bit weak still. There you go. Let's see. You can see I've got 3 characters up there now, which is up from last year's 1 character submitted on week 3. So we're tracking along better than that one, that's for sure. Alright. Not even going to call this a flat, because we're going to have to go through and do the colors a little differently, because we actually have a color palette. What a gift. It's genuinely nice not having to make the color palette. Oh, thanks. Yeah, Salt is one of my favorite D&D NPCs. I do a lot of... I'm the dungeon master in a lot of D&D campaigns, so all my, like, OCs are NPCs, as opposed to player characters, but that's fun. And Salt is a lot of fun. Okay, hold on. Wait a second. What is happening? Oh, it's the hoodie. It's the hoodie. Okay, cool. Totally forgot what that line was. Oh, nice. I'll have to check them out. That's still hoodie in this case. Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, player characters are a lot of fun. A lot of fun, too. And obviously a very popular topic on Artfight. You see a ton of D&D stuff on there. Not that I'm complaining. We'll count 4. That counts on a technicality. Oh yeah. A lot of warrior cats on there too. Which is, like, really a throwback to when I was a kid. Oh, wait, no, that actually does need to be filled in. Okay. Alright, throw the silhouette behind the lines. Got ourselves something to work with for next time. Maybe go a little lighter. Just for now. There we go. That'll be readable when we pick it up. Unfortunately, we're going to have to pick this one up tomorrow, but... we've made, I don't know, the usual amount of headway. Oh, that's for sure. Stinking. Artfight will make you practice drawing so much random stuff. I wish I remembered who it was. I saw a character that was a hex bug. You know those little, like, bristlebot looking things? Where, like, it's just like it's got like a tiny little motor in it and buzzes, and then because it's on, like, the bristles from a toothbrush, it just, like, buzzes around. They had a character that was one of those. There's a lot of creative ideas on there, but it definitely forces you to practice things you haven't practiced before. That is for sure. Okay, I am probably gonna have to wrap up for the night, though, unfortunately. However, I do have someone to raid. Let's see if I can remember how to do it. I technically, oh jeepers. So I use obviously OBS, but like, I can't figure out how to raid from OBS. So I'm having to go into, like, my creator dashboard mess and, like, figure out how to do this stuff. Let's see. Alerts. Nope. Go away. Okay. Ay. One of these days, you know, tomorrow's my 1-year streaming anniversary. One of these days I'll figure out how to actually do it. Okay. Stream manager. There we stinking go. Finally. Okay. We're gonna go, I just mentioned Galactic Tragedy, we're gonna go raid their channel, because they did some awesome art of Salt just yesterday, which you may have seen on there, and I'll send you their way. For anyone on the YouTube VOD, hopefully the quality's better this time. I know this stream we updated some audio settings, and some video settings, so hopefully we've got improvements all around. Obviously I've got to do the pitch, because I've got to do the pitch. We've got the Discord, which you can find. We've got the SifStreams website, which links to everything. We've got our Pinterest, where we've got all the references and so on and so forth. So we got a whole slew of stuff out there. But yeah, I will go ahead and pause the VOD recording now, because I've accidentally recorded like 10 minutes of a raid before of someone else's channel, and I'm not posting someone else's content. That'd be a little uncool. So bye everyone on YouTube. Y'all have a good night. We will stop recording now.